agents on our team that works with us. And he'll come back in a second and we'll continue chatting a little bit further. But I wanted to talk a little bit about life and what's going on in everyone's worlds and how we're managing this new reality of what our worlds are like. And, I've been doing a lot of work in terms of listening to podcasts and just trying to stay as balanced and centered as possible during this time, because it's really easy to move in upswings of up and down because life is really different. So a couple of things I woke up to realizing today was the 13th of this month marks an entire month that's 1 month that I've had my kids at home with me the entire time, one whole month. And it's strange because it's a blessing. I'm so thankful to have them every day in our house. And at the same time, I do miss my old life and do miss the fact that they could go to daycare and play with their friends and just have their own time without me and Roberto and everything else. And so that's been really challenging and hard, but like I said, also beautiful because we're getting all these extra special moments with our kids. I'm so appreciative of all the other moms that manage this world too. I think my team will generally agree that I am a workaholic at heart, and so to find a balance between being that mom and also making sure that our real estate team is continuing to move forward has been an interesting challenge, to say the least. Um, when I think about that, when talking about podcasts, one of the podcasts that's really helped me stay more at mind or more at peace with what's going on in our reality is a podcast by Brene Brown called Unlocking. And anyways, I just really enjoy her as a host and just as someone that talks about the world in general and leadership and life. And one of the things that she talked about in her first episode of Unlocking was this thing called FFTs. And so because I want this to be kid friendly, I'm not going to say the word, but it's basically freaking first time. You can fill in the blanks of what that means. And my sister's probably laughing at me thinking, okay, she didn't say the swear word, but freaking first times. And we are all dealing with freaking first times right now. We are dealing with freaking first times and having to stay at home and be forced to work at home, whether we want to or not. We're dealing with freaking first times in terms of having to learn video technology like this, and just first times in every little aspect that we're doing. And I think knowing that it's okay to be weirded out and knowing that it's not normal to be having to handle these freaking first times, and it's going to be hard and painful the first time, but as we get through it, it's better. I always like to joke with our team that there's this grand scheme of rule of threes. And so even when it comes to real estate, people ask, well, how do you conceive a perfect negotiation score? And, I said, oftentimes it's kind of like baseball in the sense that, three strikes or you're out. So I always believe in the rule of thumb that after you get to three negotiations or counters back and forth, it gets a little painful. So if you can wrap it up in three, that's kind of the golden spot. But of course, if you have to keep going, then you do. Um, but that's definitely something that I do believe in. And same thing with this, as we record, the first time is going to be really uncomfortable. The second time probably is going to be uncomfortable too. The third time is going to feel a heck of a lot better. It's kind of like when you start working out, the third day is the worst. And then, it gets better after that. So we're all going through these freaking first times, we'll call it, and we're just trying to figure out what that means in our life and how we go forward. But I just want to remind you guys, it's going to be rough, but it's also going to be really great at the same time. And the more that you can kind of focus on that energy and get past that point, the stronger we're going to be as people, as cultural, and as society. And it's really important that we find ways that we can connect, which is why we're doing these videos. And I am not a video person. This is not my forte and something I really enjoy, but it's definitely something that I am pushing my boundaries so that I can do better for my people as well as, my customers, because I miss you and I want to engage with you and I want to engage with my friends. And so video is one of those things that we're having to embrace and definitely challenge the norm. So let's talk a little bit about real estate and what's going on in real estate right now. So as of today, April 7th or April 11th, sorry, 7 days. I've been tracking sales every 7 days. So as of April 11th here, we've had 108 sales. So it definitely has dropped since last week. We were at 212, I believe, or 208, something along there. So we've seen about 100 less sales. We have to keep in mind, though, that Friday was Good Friday. So we're really only calculating maybe 4 days of recorded sales because the board only works Monday through Friday. So whatever hasn't gone into the board as of Thursday at 4 p.m., it wouldn't have been recorded this week. The other thing we have to remember is that, we would have expected higher numbers the last few weeks because people were already in progress of buying homes prior to the new reality that we're facing. And so we would have seen higher numbers. The other trend that we're seeing is just it's taking longer. So getting mortgages approved is taking longer, and getting conditions removed is taking longer. So we're seeing on average our condition dates are shifting. Usually we'd expect them within 7 to 10 business days maximum, and we're kind of pushing the bubble to go a little more like 10 to 14 or 15 days in terms of possession. So again, I'm not surprised that the sales are a little less just because of that. So, our team has a few pendings going on right now, but it's going to take a couple weeks for us to verify and get those to a sold point. So, for sellers, I just really stress the fact that it's really important to have patience, and less is more now. Before we used to say, get 8 people in the door, and that was our number one goal. And now it's saying, okay, how can we refocus on our numbers? How many people are watching our videos? How many people are viewing our links? Are they meaningful, really good showings, the ones that are happening? Because we want to limit the exposure of our clients as much as possible. So we really want to dig deep and make sure that the people that are going in their homes are amazing buyers, people that are legit, really want their homes, and aren't going to waste their time or their safety for that means. Going back to first times, this past month was the first time that I've had to wear rubber gloves, a face mask, carry around hand sanitizer and antibacterial spray to a showing. So I kind of joked. I felt like a cleaning person. And let me tell you, though, I feel for the nurses out there and the doctors that are, one, saving our lives, but also having to wear that protective equipment. I mean, that stuff is hot. I was warm, and I kept trying to pull the mask off and just try to talk to my clients and feel normal about it. But eventually I just told them, look, this is weird for me too. I feel uncomfortable wearing a mask in front of you, but I also know it's for your safety and mine. And so it's just finding those balances of life and just kind of making jokes about the bizarre, like the sci-fi bizarre of what we're dealing with right now, and how do we manage that. So back to the real estate sales, I do expect next week we're going to see an uptake compared to this week, just because we're going to have more days to calculate. The board was 4 days this week. We're going to have 5 days next week. I know I have a sale that just happened yesterday, and it won't be physically recorded till Monday or Tuesday next week. So, we're going to see a shift in the market, and time will tell. But the positive thing is the people that are going on, we are seeing movement. Like our listings that are going up right now, we're seeing them get sold within less than 2 or 3 showings, which is really fantastic for our clients. And actually, one of the things that we're facing is an inventory low. We're looking for new homes that we can get on the market, of course, safely, and ensure that we can find the right buyers for these people, because we have buyers that are ready and able to buy right now. And it's an inventory issue. We have literally had to be creative in terms of what we're doing to find the homes for our clients to buy. The thing that I would stress to you is, if you're on the fence and you're just curious, I would really recommend reaching out to us, because like stocks, I don't know about you, but we have some stocks, and I know my husband's been tracking them every day. Oh, honey, we're up this, we're down this. It's a repetitive thing. It's the same with real estate. Where is our biggest asset? How is it handling in the market? What price should it sell for right now? What can we anticipate or potentially expect? And of course, there's going to be a variation in that depending on the needs of the client and what they need to do. Sorry, I'm just pausing because I'm trying to let Michael back into the chat. And I'm going to add him as a co-host too. Just one second. And I'll get back to my topic in a second. Hey, Mike, welcome back. Can you hear me?
No, I can't. Sorry about
Awesome. So
technical
Elise,
difficulties.
it's all good. Like I said, this is, I was just telling everyone that this is, like Brene Brown says, we are dealing with freaking first times. And I'm using the
Yeah.
freaking word because I got my kids upstairs and I can't use the other word. So, it's really strange. And Mike, you were really honest with me too about the fact that this was weird for you too, coming on
Mhm.
here and just chatting, right?
Yeah, out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, out of our
Yeah.
comfort zone. And I think we've been facing that a lot in the past month, dealing with things that are completely out of our comfort zone, right?
Mhm.
So to give you a little bit of background about Michael, I talked a little bit about it first, but he is a super rock star agent on our team. He is also helping us manage a lot of the logistics at a luxury rental that we have right now. As
Or
yeah,
right
he's sitting in the office. I'm at home, but he's sitting at the office, and he also has a really cool background. I mean, he is like our own property brothers here in terms of renos, working with his twin doing renos for years. So anytime any of us on the team have a reno question or an unknown at a home inspection or anything else, he is definitely our guru guy that we're always turning to.
I give
And
advice. Sometimes they get me to do work, but I decline. But I will give advice on any type of work for sure.
yeah, we have to refrain. He is retired from that. So he isn't going to be doing work for our clients. He's not going to be doing work for us even though I keep begging him. The reality is he's just a really great resource for information. And we also have really great renovators that we can recommend and refer if that's
Yeah,
something that
it's a
you're
great team of people,
looking for.
painters, pilers. Yeah.
Exactly. So I know one of the things that I was talking to Mike about, and I think it's my own itch, is I've been stuck at home, like I said, 30 days, almost 30 days, Mike, with the kids. They got out of daycare on
Uh,
the 13th. And
and you're
yeah,
still sane.
I'm somewhat sane. I might actually be crazy. I think you all probably think I'm crazy because I'm just keep going, but I think that's the only way I can stay sane is I just got to keep believing that we're moving forward in life. But I was talking to Michael about projects because like I've had an itch to do a project and I keep talking to Mike about this idea that I'm like, oh, I just want to tile. Like I'm so sick of looking at my fireplace. I'm so sick of looking at my bathroom. Like I have this tile sitting in my basement already. Well, my garage. And I just want to do something with it. And Mike is always really hesitant to recommend DIY projects, but I feel like we're kind of stuck in
Yeah.
this movement of having to do stuff. So, do you have any thoughts on DIY projects or things that maybe would help people do something in their home right now that would be positive for them to do?
Yeah, I think whatever anybody's comfortable doing, I wouldn't say jump into like the hardest task right away because it might be a little defeating.
Like
If
you told
you,
me, don't do the tile in the bathroom.
yeah, I said, wait, maybe do a small project first before you go expert.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like small tile jobs, painting. Um, I think painting's a good one. My mom's actually even started painting the house a room at a time just to keep busy. Um, and you don't have to feel like you have to get it all done at once. So just a little bit a day.
Well, the nice thing about
Little projects, I think, is the key.
painting is like makes such a difference in a home. And the thing is that if you mess up, it's a really easy thing to fix. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you've cut a wall out or done
No.
something
Yeah.
completely insane, right? So painting is really good. I don't know.
Painting is safe.
It is safe.
Yeah.
And I think there's always this balance between like even when we're helping sellers, they're always afraid of going too neutral in their home. But yet at the same time, we also know that going too bold can be a detriment to selling your home. What are your thoughts on paint colors?
Yeah, I think don't go too safe because safe is boring, but
Absolutely.
also don't paint your wall like neon orange either. I remember
Exactly.
painting this one basement people wanted, and it was like a pylon orange
Oh, I know. Or
color.
red. Red
Yeah.
is like I love red, but I find that it's one way or the other. People either love it or hate it, and unfortunately, we have too many people that hate it when you
And
sell.
keep in mind too, like dark colors, if you ever have to repaint them, are really hard to cover. So you need
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 coats
Yeah.
to switch back from a dark color. But yeah, anything that's you know, I guess grays are still in now, but white's always, I like white.
Yeah. Well,
The background here, but
white's nice too because I mean you can always accent it with art or
like
other
decorations,
colors of
yeah.
your other stuff.
Yeah.
I found it kind of fitting. I was looking up what the Pantone color of the year is, and it's classic blue is what it is. And I think that would make a really good feature wall. Again, it is a darker color. But what I love about it is how fitting it is for the time that Pantone somehow had this magical notion to pick something more traditional and more safe this year, something that would maybe bring more comfort.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they knew what we'd be facing right now, but they just knew like blue. I don't know. Blue is a calming thing. You can tell I like blue. So, thoughts on that? Like, do you think accent walls are good in some rooms or?
Yeah, I think if you keep the same color like throughout to be kind of standard, and then yeah, one or two accent walls. But I get again just with like decorating with furniture or art too for color pops. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I agree. Any other projects that you think like that would be easy for people to do at home that
like updating your
easier?
faucets,
Yeah.
and that's not like the hardest job, but you can like YouTube how to change a faucet and probably
Yeah.
take it on.
Same with
Uh,
lighting, if you're wanting to.
lighting's big. Like just changing your lighting is a big thing, and it's not you know it's not
Well,
that hard.
and
Again,
the awesome part is we can shop at home for these items. It's not like we
yeah,
have to
get
go
it
out.
delivered to your
So
house.
we can be safe while we're doing it, right?
Yeah,
And also call local. I mean, there's some really great like lighting companies like Park Lighting, um, even some local places that have hardware and things like that. So by
yeah,
all means, reach out to the local people because they might even be willing to deliver. I don't know, but it's
yeah.
something that they can
I
do.
just I just found a website the other day too of all Edmonton businesses that are still open
Yeah,
for
yeah.
delivery or pickup. Like, and I think there's 1,000 places on there. We should share that website too.
Yeah, well, it can definitely show that. And actually, that I believe was the Jim Pattison group that put that up, and Lift
Okay.
Interactive was the ones that built it. So
Yeah.
commendable to you guys. We really appreciate it, and definitely something that I think is great that we're able to see what is open. And speaking of open, I don't know about you, but I've literally woken up for the last 3 days wanting brunch. I am so sad that I cannot go out for brunch. I'm a breakfast person.
Yeah. I
I'm
just
like, oh,
took
I
us to
wake up.
McDonald's on the way here.
I know if you're gonna do it, like that's the easiest thing to get up and go. Like OEB is delivering, for example. So I don't
Mhm.
know with the whole Easter thing. And by the way, happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah.
I might be tempted to try OEB, but how do you feel about eggs being delivered? I just don't know if they're going to be cold. But I guess you
I don't know.
got
You might have to pop them in the oven when they get there or something to heat them up.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And speaking of DIY, back to that, I know I keep bouncing. Our microwave broke. It's not
Oh,
the
really?
worst timing ever. So I think we figured out what it is. We've ordered the part, but we're going to definitely be DIYing fixing our microwave. Worst case scenario, we got to order a brand new one, but it was cheaper to order the part. So we're going to hope for the best with that DIY project.
Try that first. Yeah.
Try that first.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, again, same with like furniture and stuff, like, if changing out your artwork, changing out a couple of pieces of furniture. I know some people, like I've noticed one of my girlfriends, she was painting, even again back to paint, it's not just about walls, but she was painting her kitchen cupboards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
that makes a
especially,
big difference too. If you don't have the money to replace all the cupboards, a coat of paint can make a difference.
well, we've even seen
And
sometimes
new
in real
hardware,
estate.
paint and hardware. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes in real estate, we'll see a house sell for like 10 or 20K more just for
Hmm.
those minor changes, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely recommend if you can't afford a new kitchen, that might be the way to go. It just depends on the quality of the kitchen already, right? In
Yeah.
terms of functionality,
Yeah.
right? So tell me a little bit about since Mike is hanging out at Hampton Gardens, why don't we share a little bit about Hampton Gardens and what we're doing there?
Hampton Gardens is a rental project that we took on in the West End. There's 189 luxury units, a variety of 2 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, and then some 1 bedroom, 1 bathrooms.
There's also 3 bedrooms, but unfortunately they all sold
The
out.
3 bedrooms are all gone. There's only 3 of them. Yeah, so it's been pretty good. We've been here for about just over 2 months. We've
Yeah.
leased out about 30% of the building. And even now, it's been actually more busy with all this happening. I think people are just like, they were planning to move and just putting it off forever, just decided to go ahead with it. They all have granite countertops, air conditioned suites. There's a fitness room, a social room. They're quite nice. The 1 bedroom's around 1350 with an underground parking stall, and the 2 bedrooms are around 1550 per month with an underground parking stall. Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyways, we've done a couple things just to make it so that Mike is seeing less people in person there. I mean, obviously, again, we're
Yeah, we put in some
being
safety protocols. Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely been putting safety protocols. We've also shot some videos. So you can go to the website, hamptongardens.ca,
Yeah.
and take a look under gallery and see pictures as well as video. And the staging in there is fantastic. And that was done by a local interior design
Crestwell
company.
interiors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crestwell Interiors. So definitely check out their stuff. It's absolutely beautiful. I do follow them on Instagram. I can't help it.
Yeah. Everybody that
Looking
sees the show suite, they're like, "Ooh, who lives like this?" They're like, "I wish this was my place." I'm like,
I
"Well, it
know.
can be if you get a consult."
I know,
But,
I know.
yeah.
I'm again going back to that changing of your house, right? It's so tempting, but definitely if you are in the market to looking for a rental, that's something that we do recommend taking a look at. It is in West Edmonton, so in the neighborhood of the Hamptons, so just south of, or sorry, west of the Henday is
Yeah.
where
Home
it's
right next.
located. Yeah, fantastic grocery store. I keep sneaking in there to get my grocery shopping done during this at Lewis
Yeah.
Estate or at the Save on there, just because I find it so safe and clean there. So
Yeah.
it's a nice little area. When daycares open up again, there is a daycare like literally beside it.
Yeah. There's
Um,
all kinds of services and shops nearby. So it's a good
yeah, yeah.
location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, even on the website, we do have a what's around here page. So definitely check that out and see what's on there. So Michael has been spearheading hanging out there, but our team is licensed in property management, and so
Mhm.
we can also help people if they're looking to rent out their places. We do have services along that, and we can definitely hook you up with the right person to talk to at the company about what that looks like in terms of property management. And again, the same thing. We are seeing things are being rented out appropriately. I wish we had more access to having it more public because we get a lot of calls about rentals, and I wish it was something that was accessible via our MLS system, but it's not right now. But it's still a service that we can definitely offer. So. And like I said, definitely check out the website and take a peek at that. Mike, before you hopped on here, I was blabbering away by myself.
Yeah, okay. I know. I adjusted the computer screen, and then the plug popped out of the back of it, so I had to restart
Oh,
everything. That's like,
that's okay. But anyways, I was talking about people in their homes, and it just like stock markets, it doesn't hurt to know the value of your home right now,
no. Yeah, you
right?
should
And
always know the value
yeah, yeah, and
periodically,
I think
twice a year, maybe.
what people forget is that us as agents, it's not always about us helping them just buy or sell. We're actually here as advisors and consultants, and we want to stay part of your lives and keep you in the loop about what's going on.
Hmm.
So while we might not always have favorable answers,
Hmm.
it's just
We'll
like
be
the
on it.
stock. Yeah, it's like the stock market. Wouldn't you just rather know right now than not know
Yeah.
what's happening in your situation?
Hmm.
And so, a couple things that we can do is if you're interested in getting an analysis of your home, we can keep you in the loop with a market report, and we can send that as frequently as you want, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, or
Hmm.
yearly. So we can definitely keep you in the loop that way. If you're seriously considering, is now a right time to sell? Let's chat about it. Sometimes we work with clients for 1 or 2 years, talking about the market and what's happening in their lives before we actually help them pursue a purchase.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
also
can
strategy. Yeah.
exactly. And I find often when we get a chance to talk to our clients ahead of time, we tend to we're able to create a better strategy for them when we sell, and it often sells quite quickly because we've really watched their market very
Yeah.
closely.
Yeah. See what your competition is. Maybe it's a good time to list when there's no competition in your area.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's what I was speaking to too, is I mean, we're definitely in a point where we're looking for more inventory. So there are buyers out there, and we are looking for people to consider selling right now and talking to us. And again, we're not saying you should sell. We're saying you should look and see if it makes sense to sell,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I had one of my CMAs this past week via video, and I know for me it was different and weird, but it was actually really cool. I got to know Kurt really well via phone or via this, and it was really really great. And in
Hmm.
his case, in the client one of the client's cases this past week on a CMA, I definitely said not to sell right now. Like it may not be a good time, but I've had a few other CMAs this week where it makes sense for them to consider it.
Yeah.
Same with the rental market, right? Is it the right time to move or not? You
Hmm.
just have to be a little bit more careful, but there's definitely opportunities. But
Yeah.
like I said, the biggest thing is knowing that we're here to give advice in these situations.
Hmm.
And we're not out there to tell you to sell because it's in our best interest. No, we want to make sure
No,
that
but
we
still though
believe,
it's an opportunity and people are selling, people are buying, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's all shut down right now, but there's still people still have to
Yeah.
go on with their lives and make decisions that are important. So
Exactly. And I think we've always had like at TruHome, we've always said it's compassion first and care first and just making sure that, at the end of the day, we really want to build those relationships with our clients for the long term. And so the last thing we'd ever want to do is tell them to make a decision that we feel is not in their best interest for the
oh, for
future,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I know you know that too, right? So
Mhm.
that's kind of a balance that we've definitely had in terms of that. Um, I'm smiling because my little son is running running around now. You
Let's
might
see.
hear him. There's Paw Patrol
Go
a
to
lot.
Bob.
There's Paw Patrol a lot in our home right now. A lot in our home right now. So yeah, like I said, I think it's a good time for people to consider things. It's also a great time to shop online. Like I don't know about you, but I can't help but look at real estate. Like I love looking at real estate. I mean, that's my profession, but you
Yeah.
know,
All people love to look at real estate though. They're always
yeah,
like,
yeah. It's
yeah,
it's it's fun. It's almost like voyeuristic to look at how other people live and whether you
yeah.
can afford it or not. It's tempting to look
Hmm.
and so we do have great resources where people can look. Like we do have our yeg.real estate website. We have yourtruehome.com, which is great for condos as well as a match tool. If you download on the iPhone or Apple TV, we do have Edmonton Real Estate, and you can download apps there. I don't know about you, but lounging on a couch, enjoying some popcorn, and looking at real estate with your spouse could be a date. I don't know.
You gotta be creative nowadays.
could be a date.
Or again, looking at real estate on the Apple TV.
Exactly. Well, it's something to do, right? It is something that people can do. And speaking of that, I know you've been staying in touch with our mortgage brokers and asking advice about what people should be doing in terms of if they're thinking about potentially buying. And we're not saying now, but sometime maybe in the next 3 months. What does mortgage? And again, we're not mortgage brokers,
We're
so
non-mortgage brokers, and this isn't like this isn't like to date. This is like a week or two old after all this happened. But it's always good to, if you're thinking about buying, to get pre-qualified and lock in a rate. Uh, Rates are really low right now with the Bank of Canada dropping their interest rate a couple of times. However, the interest rates that the banks lend at are going up a little bit because they are concerned about the economy too. So
from our understanding,
the risk
yeah.
of lending is also a little bit higher maybe now. So it is, if you're thinking about buying, it is good to talk to a mortgage broker and get locked in now, at least for 6 months, to hold that rate, because they are quite low now, but they may go up. We don't know. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important to talk about lock in a rate. Like, what does that mean to lock in a rate? So I think there's a
So
lot of misconception about that.
yeah, so you get approved, and then whatever the rate is today, they lock you in for 3 to 6 months. If the rate goes down in that time, they honor that new rate. But if the rate goes up, they still honor whatever you were locked in at that point.
Yeah, and I think that's important distinction to understand is just because you're locking into a rate, it doesn't mean you're putting yourself in a worse position. You're just guaranteeing you won't be in a worse position. Is
Yeah.
basically what it is, right? So
And it doesn't cost anything. It's like totally, they only get paid if you end up going through with the mortgage. So,
yeah, it's completely free. And again, it's one of
yeah.
those things that the mortgage brokers are there and they're
Mhm.
there to service you and give you advice too. And so they don't mind pulling it. And I know even us, like, I don't know about you, Mike, but once a year I talk to one of our mortgage brokers just touching in, just like I do real estate.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. I want to know, okay, well, where am I sitting at financially? How am I sitting here? And of course, I talk to my financial advisors, my accountants, all these other experts too that we have
Mhm.
to talk to. But just getting a sense of like, okay, well, if say I was to sell my house, or say if I was to keep my house and rent it out and maybe buy another property, where am I personally sitting, right? Because we're
Yeah.
human too. We're just like our clients. We're
Mhm.
trying to navigate the waters of figuring out what's best in our lives in terms of real estate purchases too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so again, these mortgage brokers or people are more than happy to help you. I would stress probably the banks themselves, they don't want you to come in and do an appointment for a
No,
mortgage per
no,
se.
no. If
But
you can find one open, I think there's only one out of all the TDs in the city. There's like one that's open around here,
exactly.
like
But
a
the
10-kilometer radius.
Exactly. But the mortgage brokers, there's two different classifications of mortgage brokers. There's the independent mortgage brokers that will represent you and help you find the best options across a bunch of
Multiple
banks.
lenders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple lenders and even B lenders, so not necessarily bank lenders,
Mhm.
but that maybe will take more risk. And then of course there's the mortgage brokers that work for a specific bank, like so a TD mortgage broker or an RBC. But the thing to note is most of these guys, they're mobile. And so if you are looking for advice on a mortgage broker, we can definitely steer you in the direction of all of those paths, whether you're looking for a very specific mortgage broker at a very specific bank, or if you're looking for a mortgage broker that can give you a rate on numerous banks. It's definitely something we can help with, right?
We can put you in the right direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just keeping that in mind. And again, speaking of real estate and how you can kind of go about doing life right now, doesn't hurt to drive around either right now. I mean, we're supposed to stay at home and I 100% recommend that. But if you do need to get out, a drive isn't a bad thing to do. And again, explore driving around a neighborhood and just, getting a feel of what would it be like to live there is definitely a good thing to consider doing.
Good for the sanity too. To get
it's also good for naps. That's why I do it. I'm like, I don't know if there's any woman in Edmonton or man in Edmonton that has kids under 4 that's maybe not taking a drive to get their kids to sleep right now. I mean, we got to do what we got to do to have some peace in our lives, right? Catch up on our calls, do those things. So, I think that's the key thing is our whole conversation today is about moving forward. We're not going to move forward the same way we have. We have to create as much normalcy as possible right now. And so taking advantage of, spring cleaning is another thing, decluttering your life a little bit, spending more time with your kids at home or with, your spouse or whoever you are at home is a really good time. And I think it's okay to dream about the future, right? It's okay to dream about the future. And if the future can happen faster for you and real estate something that can push forward sooner, then we're here to help. And if it's more of a dream for the future, then call us anyways, because we'd love to talk to you about your dreams and get you set up on a plan where we can help you make those decisions in the next 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years. It doesn't matter. We're here for you. And even advice, like, I mean, the government and the banks are even offering things like deferred mortgages and stuff like that. I mean, there's lots of pros and cons about all these decisions. And we're here.
If we don't know the answer, we'll find it out for you or put you in touch with,
exactly.
experts that will.
Exactly. Like, just ask us a question, like ask us anything that you have. And we're definitely going to be here to steer you in the right direction. And again, back to even local YAG, things that are open, things that are doing like, as real estate people, we tend to be in lots of neighborhoods and trying lots of restaurants and experiencing a lot of things.
Support everybody local.
Yeah, support everyone local, and we can definitely, if you're curious about advice on a restaurant, I guarantee you one of our team members has ate there once before, and we're happy to give feedback. We tend to be foodies here. We love our food, and we're happy to give you that advice that you're looking for. And the same thing goes, I mean, if you just need personal help or just advice or consultation, I mean, we're also here to serve our communities. So if we can do anything to make your lives better right now, we're definitely, if you're curious about advice on a restaurant, I guarantee you one of our team members has ate there once before. And we're happy to give feedback. Why we're doing these videos here. We love our food. And we're happy to give you that advice that you're looking for. Things are still happening. And the same thing goes, I mean, if you just need personal help or just advice or life is still moving forward, and we're also here to serve our community. We are here as advisors to do anything to make your lives better right now. We can definitely, if you're curious about anything else that on a restaurant, I think of Mike, one of our team members has ate there once before, and we're happy to give feedback. Why we're doing these videos here. We love our food. Yeah, but and we're happy to give that advice. Yeah, before still happening. And the same thing goes. I mean, if you just need personal help or just advice, our life is still moving forward. And we're also here. We need to make sure that you're healthy and fine and safe to browse those. And of course, we also want to make sure that a rental property is something that you're planning for the near future in terms of that. But we'd love to talk to you guys further. We're going to end the call today at this time. We scheduled an hour just in case, but I think we've wrapped up a lot of our conversations already. And please reach out to us about information that you'd like to get, because we're definitely working on getting other experts to be talking in these chats.
Or topics they'd like to know more about, that we could do this again. Yeah.
Exactly. And we'll definitely keep you in the loop about that. So, Mike's, thanks.
Thanks.
I'm going to go be my mom and wife right now, not just the boss. And cheers to you guys. And thanks for joining us. And we look forward to talking soon. Okay. Have a good day, Mike. I'll talk to you soon.